What if the secret to peace was hidden in something as simple as a glass of water? This is the story of a young man named Marco, restless, lost, and drowning in his own thoughts, until a mysterious old man in the hills gave him a challenge that changed his life forever. But what was the challenge, and how did it unlock the peace Marco had been searching for all his life? Stay with me till the end. You won't want to miss this lesson. Long ago, in a quiet valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a small village. Life there was simple. Fields of golden wheat swayed in the breeze. Children ran barefoot through the streets, and the air always carried the smell of fresh bread baking in clay ovens. Yet in this peaceful village lived a young man named Marco, only 24 years old, who could not find peace inside his own heart. Marco was restless. From a moment he opened his eyes in the morning until he lay down at night, his mind never stopped running. He was filled with thoughts, some small, some heavy, and some sharp like thorns. He remembered the mistakes of his past again and again, words he wished he had not spoken, decisions he regretted, and moments he could not change. Whenever he tried to sleep, worries about the future crowded his thoughts. What if I fail? What if tomorrow brings sorrow? What if I never find happiness? Day by day, Marco became more and more trapped inside his own head. His friends laughed, but he could not laugh with them. His neighbors greeted him, but he barely noticed. Even the beauty of the mountains that rose like giants around his village brought him no comfort. He felt as though his mind was a storm, tossing him from one thought to another, never allowing him to rest. One evening, as Marco sat by the river with his face in his hands, an old traveler passed by. The man had gray hair, tired eyes, and a stick in his hand. When he saw Marco's troubled face, he stopped and asked gently, "Young man, why do you look so heavy, as though you carry a mountain on your back?" Marco sighed, "Because my mind never stops. I live in the past and fear the future. I don't know how to find peace." The old traveler nodded slowly. "I once heard of a wise man who lives in a faraway village in the hills. He used to be a great teacher in the city, but he left everything to live close to nature. People say he helps those who are lost in their thoughts." Those words lit a spark of hope in Marco's heart. That very night, under the stars, he decided, "I must go and meet this wise man. Perhaps he will know how to quiet my storm." The next morning, Marco packed some bread, dried fruits, and a small flask of water. He told his mother he would be away for some time, and she looked at him with worried eyes but kissed his forehead. "Go, my son," she whispered. "May you return with a lighter heart." The journey was long and tiring. Marco walked through fields and forests, across rivers, and over rocky paths. At night, he slept under the open sky, listening to the sounds of owls and wolves in the distance. Some days, he met strangers, merchants on the road, farmers carrying baskets, or shepherds leading their flocks. Each asked where he was going, and when he told them, they nodded with respect. "Ah, the wise man of the hills," they said. "You are lucky. Few have the courage to seek him." Finally, after many days, Marco reached the quiet village nestled in the hills. The air there was different, cleaner, softer, as though it carried peace itself. In the center of the village, surrounded by tall trees and flowering plants, stood a small wooden house covered in vines. Birds chirped on its roof, and butterflies danced in the garden. On the porch, an old man sat cross-legged, his eyes closed, his breathing calm and deep. His face was wrinkled with age, but he glowed with serenity. Marco felt an unexplainable calm just by looking at him. Slowly, Marco walked forward and bowed respectfully. "Grandfather," Marco said softly, "my heart is troubled, and my mind is restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace. Can you help me?" The old man opened his eyes and gave a gentle smile, as if he had been expecting Marco. "So, you're searching for peace," he said in a calm voice. "Come with me." The old man led Marco to his small yard. There he filled a glass of water to the very brim, so full that even a single drop more would spill over. Handing it carefully to Marco, he said, "Take this glass. Walk from here to the edge of the village and return. But remember, you must not spill even one drop of water." Marco was surprised. "That's all?" he asked. The old man nodded. "That is all." So Marco took the glass. He held it carefully with both hands and began to walk. The path was narrow. Children were playing, running, and laughing nearby. Shopkeepers were calling to customers. Dogs barked, carts rolled by, and villagers greeted each other loudly. But Marco did not look at them. His eyes were fixed only on the glass. Step by step, carefully and slowly, he moved forward. His entire focus was on the trembling water. He did not let himself be distracted, and at last, he returned safely to the old man without spilling a single drop. "Grandfather," Marco said proudly, "I did it. I did not spill even one drop." The old man smiled. "Good. But tell me, did you see the children playing? Did you hear the dog barking? Did you notice the beauty of the trees and the songs of the birds?" Marco looked confused. "No, I didn't. I was only focused on the glass." The old man's smile deepened. "And that, my child, is the secret. When you kept your mind fixed on the glass, you were not trapped in the past. You were not afraid of the future. You are only here, now, in this moment. That is why your mind was quiet. That is peace. It is not something outside you. It is already within you. You simply must bring your attention to the present." Marco stood still, letting the old man's words sink into his heart. For the first time in many years, his storming thoughts grew silent. He realized that he had been chasing peace in the wrong places, searching for it in memories of the past or dreams of the future. But true peace was always there, hidden in the present moment, waiting for him to notice. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and gold. Birds were flying back to their nests. Marco bowed deeply before the old man. "Grandfather, now I understand. If I want peace, I must live here in this moment. That is when the storm ends." The old man nodded, his eyes twinkling. "Yes, Marco. Do not let your mind be a prisoner of time. Live in the present, and you will always carry peace with you." With a lighter heart and a gentle smile on his face, Marco began his journey back home. The mountains, the trees, the air, everything seemed different now, as though the whole world was smiling at him. But in truth, it was Marco himself who had changed. He was no longer the restless young man who had left his village. He was a man who had discovered the treasure hidden inside his own heart. As Marco walked down the hill that evening, the air felt lighter, the colors of the world brighter. Every step carried a new calm within him. For the first time in years, he wasn't lost in thoughts of yesterday or trapped in fears of tomorrow. He was simply here, with the sound of birds, the rustle of leaves, the glow of the sunset. When he reached his own village, people noticed something different in him. His shoulders were no longer heavy, his eyes no longer restless. He carried with him not just the memory of the wise old man, but a truth he would never forget. Sparkle's peace is not found in the noise of the past or the shadows of the future. Peace is born when we return to the present moment, again and again. And from that day forward, whenever Marco felt the storm of thoughts rise within him, he would close his eyes, take a deep breath, and remember the glass of water. In that simple act, he found his way back to stillness. The story of Marco reminds us all, we do not need to chase peace across mountains or search for it in distant places. Peace is already inside us, waiting for us to notice it, here and now. So, dear listener, as you move forward in your own journey, remember, stay present, stay calm, and peace will walk beside you always.